You are listening live to a special edition of the Xtreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, and as always, the co-host with me this evening is Englentine.
Hey, true believers.
And guesting with us tonight, rather frequently, is the doctor who's, I have to admit, Dr. Venkman, your credentials are quite suspect at this particular point, so we're giving you another opportunity here to make solid on your reviews for Godzilla. Are you ready?
I guess. It's kind of hard to follow after that, though. That's kind of mean.
Okay. Well, actually, we're going to put you on a spot for this. We're going to talk about Godzilla tonight. Just give us, some of our opinions as far as what we liked, didn't like, and everything else there too. So again, we're going to put you on a spot. Starting with you first. What did you think of Godzilla?
Godzilla. It was a long movie. It wasn't boring. I like the fact. That the characters did well with the people too. As far as it wasn't too much of the monsters, wasn't too much of the people. It was, to me, there was a healthy balance. The only thing I didn't like was the mom. She was supposed to be the protagonist of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, or the antagonist. Yeah, I always get those two confused. But yeah, she was basically. I don't want to give you spoilers out, but who hasn't seen it? But yeah, the movie was.
It's not a spoiler, no matter what you tell anybody.
Right. I thought I'd give it like about a 6 out of 10 for being. There wasn't enough Godzilla. There was, and some of this. They brought in a lot of the classic monsters in there. The only one that wasn't in there was Gamora, the giant mutant turtle.
You had an interesting thought about that, though, Doctor. What was that? Because you just told me that before we started. Tell us and the fans what you think about that.
The fact is that the Gamora, I'm probably butchering his name.
Gamera.
Gamera.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that he wasn't in there, and he's also another rival of Godzilla. I wonder if he's going to be in Kong, which is coming out next year, I believe. Either early spring or late. But yeah, the fact that he's not in there, I wonder if they even thought about including him in there. But we'll have to wait and see. But as for the movie, this had Mothra in there. Usually Mothra in the previous movies, there was two twin girls who were able to communicate with her telepathically. They do show one of the girls in here. They're the two sisters. She's in this movie. But they don't show her sister, and they explain the fact that she comes from a long descendants of people who worship them, or I guess took care of. I don't know if they took care of them, but yeah. This movie had a lot of stuff. The part when they thought they're gonna kill Godzilla. And then they went to revive him.
No, well, let's hold off on that though, because that's towards the third act, and that brings up.
But yeah, I was gonna say, and the movie held my interest. I just couldn't stand the mother because the fact that she basically took the daughter and was trying to was gonna destroy the world, because she thought, well, if you destroy people, humans are the problem. The world will regrow itself like it's on the Chernobyl and all the others. So. Yeah.
What was the rule, Englentine, for when we saw Gary Busey? It's not the Gary Busey rule, but it's the rule when you see somebody, they're automatically going to be the bad guy or be the one that swerves you.
Yeah, you're talking about Tywin Lannister being in this.
Well, no, not him at all.
Really?
Vera Farmiga. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw her, I said, "Oh, she's going to be like the Psycho Woman from the show, The Bates Motel," which I thought she did a very good job in. So, So tell me, what did you like and what did you not like about the movie?
Okay, first of all, you have to understand how I see Godzilla films. Godzilla films are basically just like porno films. And the fact that when you get right down to the human characters, they are the talkie points between each sex scene. In this case, you just need them to give a little bit of dialogue and then go, and here is monsters fighting.
Here's the money shot.
Yeah, that is the way that a Godzilla movie should go. And in this case, they did that wonderfully. That's it. I mean, the people were there just to say, okay, and here are monsters fighting. They gave us enough of a story. They gave us enough character to care. I thought everybody did very well with the really bad dialogue that they had to say. And I thought they emoted well. They did what they had to do in order to get us to what we really wanted to see. And we got a lot of what we wanted to see in this. This was just money shot after money shot after money shot. And I thoroughly enjoyed it for that reason. Mind you, this is a silly film. It's monsters fighting, but I really enjoyed it just because they didn't really pay much attention to the pizza guy going, hey, who ordered the sausage? You know, they got right into it. And yeah.
You know, it makes me wonder how this movie would have been if it was scored with some horn sections and saxophone playing. But I'm going to argue the contrary about this movie.
Okay. Now, are you just arguing, or do you actually believe this wasn't a good movie?
I think, well, let me start with the good. When Godzilla was on, or any of the kaiju, it was enjoyable. I have an asterisk with that because I couldn't see the damn film.
Really?
I thought it was blurry. I thought it reminded me of the first few episodes of Game of Thrones, where it was just muddy and murky. I was really pissed off at it because I think with everybody feeling like there wasn't enough Godzilla in the first one, yes, this movie, you know, it was a good thing that you got to see more of them and more monsters. I think that the most positive thing about the entire movie, honestly, it's not just the way they set it up for the next film or series of films. Mothra was the standout MVP without question to me. I mean, I love me Godzilla. He's my boy. He's my brother, you know, but Mothra I thought was excellent, and actually it gave you a little bit of an emotional connection the way they did it in here. That was fantastic. The best scene that had everything going on it for me was the end, which again, if you could see it, I would think would be 10 times better. And that's a scene where Kong's, you know, the alpha there at the end, and he's just kind of standing there with the city you can't see because of how badly it was shot. But then all the monsters come up to him, and you're like, what's going to happen? And they all bow to him like, yes, you are the king of the monsters. I walked out of there with a huge erection. That was fantastic. That was the best
it's Boston,
scene.
By the way.
Yeah, well, if you consider Boston a real city, but you know, Boston. You know, I appreciate the fact that they wanted to get a Fenway Park blown up there, a landmark. I think that was cool. Not that you could almost tell it was Boston because again, it was shot poorly. I was extremely disappointed by that, and the problem I had with the movie was starting off Vera Farmiga, the Gary Busey role. I just knew she was going to be a bad person. I thought that was a joke at first because okay, they're divorced, they're whatever, blah blah blah. Spend your 10 minutes before you should blow your wad. I agree with you, pizza scene. But then I went, oh, crazy single mom, middle-aged white woman, crazy. Yeah, that explains everything, and it makes absolutely no sense if you even think about the plot. About okay, they broke up. Okay, she created this device. Okay, that's the MacGuffin, whatever. But then at the end, she sees the error of her ways. Are you effing kidding me? What a damn distraction. What a friggin' disgrace. It really kind of annoyed me, pissed me off.
I agree with that 100%, because if you are so far gone to drag your daughter into a situation where you know that ultimately humans have to die, you're pretty much what's that word? Zealot. You're so much of a zealot that I don't think you would care. You would understand. You know, I don't know. I'm not a zealot. But that's just the way I read it as well. I agree with you.
And then they made the father the sensitive, gooey type, which, okay, you know, he watches animals kill things and this and that. You figure he wouldn't be bawling every time you see him on the screen. I'm like, okay, they just reversed the roles, which, whatever, that's fine. I mean, I tried to ignore all that, but at least he kept the action moving.
Yeah.
Eric Breen, are you flying solo in the chat again? Maybe.
He was, I got to admit, he was a bit of a Gary Stu, though.
A what?
A Gary Stu. He can do anything. And there was no expert communications guy. His character, the dad, would go, oh, well, we need to set up this communication over here, and let me show you how or tell you how. If they needed a cartographer even, oh, let me read this map for you, you know. Yep. He was very adept at doing anything they needed to do, even though he's surrounded by an entire cast. They could have taken up some of that slack. I do have to admit on that, but Guy, I went into a movie wanting King of the Monsters. I wanted monsters fights. To me, what I saw looked really good. I do agree with you. Some of the fights, though, being as dark as the movie was, it wasn't like Game of Thrones bad, but there were some where you could tell
am I wrong about that? I know it's a different director, so I'm not even going to complain about what I consider to be almost the lack of scale, which I thought was really good in the first movie. I understand this one's different because they're fighting all the monsters, and I think the battles were fine. I don't have an issue with them. What I'm really talking about is the viewing of it, which means physically the way it's shot. I mean, maybe I'm nitpicking, but it was a distraction to me. I don't think that I saw them in all their goodness.
I disagree with you a little bit, because what they did is, it's an old trick. They did it in Jurassic Park even, where they make it dark on purpose so they could hide any flaws that might be in the CGI. And for that, it worked. And if you ever see the bright scenes, they really do. They are very confident on the shots they know are very good. I mean, any Mothra scene looked awesome. Yeah. I do have to say that. But overall, I gotta say, I agree with you on some things. I disagree on others.
The attack team, the defense team, led by a black female woman, don't know her at all. That I thought she was very good in her role. I noticed it was a completely multicultural team. That was intentional. I all the women are in charge. And then secondly, this I thought was a bit of a negative. Okay, we all like Stranger Things, I guess, but 11 basically has, the two moves. She's like the female version of the guy that was in the movie that I can't think of, who's blonde and got blue eyes, and I thought would be a good role for somebody that I said had two moves. He had his drunk hangover look and then his crybaby look. She's got like Dan Stevens. 11's got two looks, and it's awful. And I just thought, Vera, I can understand her role, but she's still a good actress. She, I think, has a good range of emotions no matter what she's talking. I think she's fantastic, actually. I do like her a lot, but I just thought 11 in here was awful. I don't know if they're trying to push her. I don't know why they called her three names, Millie Bobby Brown. Maybe it's because of the Bobby Brown, and we think of the other Bobby Brown.
That Millie, could be it. She had to add the Millie. I don't know. I don't know the story behind that.
So, but
I don't think she was awful, but I don't think she was given a lot to do. Her entire job was to react to everything. Oh my gosh, my mom and dad are fighting. Let me react. Oh my gosh, there's Godzilla. Let me react. But sometimes she would react to a monster coming at her in the same way that she reacted to her mother fighting with someone, which I thought, okay, yeah, you really got to kind of be in scream mode when you are looking at something that you are an aunt to. But I didn't think she did horrible. I just don't think that she had a lot to work with.
I won't disagree with you on that. So let me go ahead and ask you, Doctor, were you one of those people that, like, there's this consensus online for a lot of people that, oh, you can't have 2 hours of monsters fighting without the human element? Or were you the one where that you wanted to see more stuff done with the human stuff?
It depends on what kind of movie you're going for. I mean, I thought this movie actually balanced it out pretty well. I mean, you want to have somewhat of a story. If you just have two monsters fighting, you might as well just go pick up the game. You just do multiplayer versus each other. You gotta have some story in there. But yeah, I mean, I thought one of the best characters in this, besides, Kyle Chandler as being his father, he held the story together pretty well. I mean,
I do agree.
Was he a little bit more positive, Mr. Positive? At first, he hated Godzilla, but then he realized, oh crap, we actually need him because if we don't have him, there's no balance for the rivalry between him and Ghidorah. I think it's. But I liked Bradley Whitford's character. He was Dr. Rick Stanton. He was in the guy in the
comic room. Relief guy.
Yeah, it's a comic relief guy. He's like, you want us to open up the shutters? Are you crazy? And Godzilla's underwater coming at him. He's like, no. He's like, put the guns away. Like, we're gonna surrender. Make them not a threat. And it's like, I'm thinking, like, dude, you're not a threat even with their guns. What do you think you're gonna do?
Right.
But I like the fact that he had at least a comic relief in there, because I was wondering, like, where's the comic relief going to be? Because it's just so serious right off the get go, Because you see like the Godzilla, like, and the beginning where he's destroying. They were in San Francisco, I think it was, got destroyed, and their son dies. So so that's what caused the drift, you know, where he coped with being away and just filming animals, you know, where she decided, well, I'm gonna try to control all the Titans, you know, with the and I'm thinking he scrapped it for a reason, because he's like, well, I don't want anybody using this for misuse, and that's exactly what happened, because she thought, well, I'm gonna go and do it anyway, because you know I'm gonna fix everything, and I'm like, what a bitch.
Yeah, I think they did a lot more with humans, so I don't see the bitching for it. Plus, we got more Godzilla, and I do like how they had one fight in each act, and the fights got better. And I think like I say, the Mothra thing then was just fantastic. So no, I will see it again. I did like the movie. I just wanted to bring up some contrarian points, but I kind of want to just bring up one little subversive thing that I think I saw too, and then ask you guys, you know, what you want to see in the next film. But did you notice two things? Well, okay, one, they beat up and destroyed Boston, you know, our kind of hometown there with the, you know, Constitution, all that. Okay, whatever, you know, you can argue that specifically, but it's, you know, an American city, and was that I assume that nobody was surprised that the Category 6 hurricane storm was the monster coming up, and of course destroyed DC, our nation's capital. So to me, I thought that was a really good way of them being kind of anti-American, you know, because Godzilla in a way, you know, is supposed to represent that to the Japanese. Not that may be the case today, but I thought, okay, that's a good way of, you know, getting your point across. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
I will say.
Go ahead.
I will say this though, I didn't, when it got to the ending part, you know, scene where the big fight thing, I really didn't care for Godzilla. It's this fact, this is the way his character design was. He still looked like a guy in a suit to me. It was a CG version. That's all.
I think it was the poor filming.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand. Like I agree with E. There's a reason why they did it dark, because they wanted to hide flaws. But then again, it's a dark movie at first. You know, it's monsters destroying the world.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be campy. You don't want to be like, oh, it's Godzilla. Yay, he's here, save us. No.
No, it's a good film. All right, E. Final thoughts on Godzilla? What you'd like to see?
For the next movie, Kong versus Godzilla,
Kong or the franchise, either one.
Well, the next one is going to be Kong versus Godzilla, and what I want to see in that is exactly that. I don't want it to be a Batman versus Superman thing where we have a 3-hour film with them fighting for 20 minutes. I want to see a good ass battle. And of course, I want them to come together and realize, holy shit, this other monster over here is, or these monsters are going to be even worse. That being said, King Kong, according to what they said in that last movie, is here to put the Titans down. He's supposed to protect humanity from these huge monsters. So if in the end, King Kong is the final boss battle, I think it is a great way to end their environmental story by saying, okay, these Titans have done what they were sent out to do. They took care of some of the population. Now those populations are lush. It's time for them to go back in. And that means it's time for Kong to go and basically bury the Titans again.
How the hell can he do it?
It's Kong versus like everybody.
I don't see it. I know they tried to build him up being bigger and stronger, and they made some mentions of him being, you know, a Titan as well as the rest of them. I get all that, but unless he's got home court advantage and Godzilla's one-on-one with him, I'm not seeing it.
He would have to. I mean, we got a whole bunch of monsters at the end there, and I think he could defeat the spider. I mean, there's nothing there that he couldn't defeat. Yeah. And ultimately, it would be his agility and strength versus Godzilla's tail and fire breath.
Yeah, won't all the other monsters want to help Godzilla because he's the alpha?
Well, the way I would play it is it would be the boss battle. Godzilla's the boss battle.
Okay, so just a heads up matchup.
I mean, he could do what Gamora did, you know, or Ghidorah. Sorry, remember Ghidorah started sending all the monsters after Godzilla first because he was controlling them.
Yeah,
he could do that, but I don't see that would be like a really weak move for Godzilla to do that, though. But I mean,
well, if the filming's done, though, won't some of the facts of this leak out between now and next year?
I'm pretty sure you can't keep a secret anymore.
Did they release the cast for King Kong versus Godzilla?
I just heard that the filming's booked, so I imagine we might be able to figure that out if they haven't already done that officially.
Do you think they'll cross over with as far as bringing these guys, so many people over, like the Dr. Eileen Chen.
Yeah, because I think after that, I think they're going to play out this movie, see how it does, which I know we, on our previous stream that we did on our box office stream, we talked about Godzilla. It was kind of sad in that he did okay, not as great as we thought, but he's doing well enough where they'll probably do another movie after this because they can have Millie Bobby Brown and whoever else. They can shape the next movie after Kong versus Godzilla to do it. Frankly, Kong has been looking good lately, but yeah, man, I just don't know. So I guess it all depends on what's going to happen with this next movie, and maybe they'll get on filming that.
I would like to see Gamera, and maybe in the end we have Kong and Gamera team up because Gamera's more outer space anyway.
Yeah, I just didn't want this movie to turn into The Mummy. I wanted to like The Mummy with Tom Cruise, but they couldn't decide on how they wanted to go about doing it, and that's why I think it ultimately failed, even though it was very rich and lush looking. I hope they weren't just trying to be like a lot of these other movies where they just try to do too much and set everything up instead of just having a friggin' film with a few things in there. So I think they were successful. I think they did a good job with it, and I did like it despite me, playing the contrarian tonight. But
it's a fun film, and this is a movie that I would recommend seeing on the big screen. I just think it's better that way. It would be better seeing on the big screen.
I mean, did you watch a lot of horror movies? What did you think when they showed Godzilla charging the underwater base? Were you kind of like really into the movie, or were you kind of dissociated at the point where like you're done by then?
No, I enjoyed it right up to the end.
Yeah.
I had nothing bad to say about the movie. Other than what I did. I mean, by that, I mean, I thought it was entertaining in spite of the flaws.
Yeah. That scene reminded me of the Meg, where the little girl's underwater and you see the thing swimming closer and closer. I got like Meg vibes. I'm like, is he gonna like hit them or not?
Now you're trolling me.
Yeah. I actually watched the Meg recently. It's on Hulu to stream. And I was like, it can't be as bad as I remember, and,
my niece didn't like it, and she likes 47 meters down more, and she's 10 years old.
There's a couple of scenes I like in the film, but overall, yeah, it's still as bad as I remembered.
Not nearly as good as anything we mentioned on our most recent stream there, the Top 10 Tuesday for 1981. By any means, any of those movies is better than the Meg. It's not even close.
Are we going to mention the underwater part? What happened as far as the doctor who went to go save Godzilla? Or is that too much of a spoiler?
No, I wouldn't. I don't want to spoil anything for
we'll leave it at
listening.
A few people that haven't seen it, we'll check it out.
For that scene though, I would go see Godzilla just for that one scene.
Let's just say people that are complaining about Godzilla being fat, juiced, swole, ripped, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say he gets his own form of steroids in here, and from there on, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, a lot of help from his friends. And one thing that I thought was weird, and it might just be me, but he moved a lot slower in the first movie, and I kind of like that because it was his size, and these monsters should have been. But I can understand why they increased the speed because now they're focusing on the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something that I found to be a bit surprising, that they really did have him like when Godira grabs onto him, he actually kind of
it's like he has a pounce or something.
He does a throw tail kind of thing that's really quick, and it was just a bit. It's like, wow, okay, they sped up Godzilla in this one.
Would you say that they sped him up John Woo-ish or perhaps Sean Connery James Bondish?
Nothing about Sean Connery's James Bond action is sped up, so I would have to go John Woo-ish.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Great talking with you guys again tonight. Eric Breen and Channel Doctor. He'd like you to hold on. He wants to go to chat after this or whatever. So I just wanted to convince that to you.
I got one real quick question. Do you know if what the budget of this movie is compared to the original one with Matthew Broderick? If it made anywhere close to that?
I think Matthew Broderick's was. I think they're about the same, which means that would have been a lot more from 20 years ago. Yeah, that's just my initial thought. I may be off on that. You may know better.
You can check Box Office Mojo, and it'll tell you if of course that information is available.
Okay, E, you got anything you need to plug?
Let's see. I'm about to drop a review for Dark Phoenix, Ma, and The Dead Don't Die. Beyond that, no, I'll just show up on Sunday, and then Tuesday, of course, we're doing 1982.
Yeah. All right, Doctor and Channel, Eric Breen's asking you to stay in Channel, so I don't know what your situation is, but if you need to stay in a chat with him, go ahead and do that, or I don't know how you guys want to talk, but make sure you hook up with Eric Breen on that. No, I don't really have anything. Godzilla's a good movie. I'm glad it wasn't a disappointment, so I'm a little bit relieved. Now I can watch it again and enjoy it, and frankly, ended strong like any good porno does. So Godzilla, King of the Monsters, #1, perfect movie. It's good to be the king. For Englentine, for Dr. Venkman, and for myself, Rob, everybody, have a great night, and of course, like Godzilla, stay extreme.
Stay extreme.
Good night.
Good night.